Hello everybody, my name is Rami. I've been in this industry, which is a trucking business, for quite a while. I would say about 7 years. It's not much, but I have my own authority right now. And I watch a lot of movies about how much a truck driver makes. And you see all these videos, blah 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 blah. Guys, it's just truck business anyway is not really a humane job. Okay, it means you're gonna be abused in it. Okay. And a lot of people, they get stuck within a lot of money, and loans and stuff like that. But everybody's talking about how many miles you drive. Okay, we drove those miles, and then after that means you are on the road, sitting like in a, whatever the box is, isolating yourself from almost. The world is not fun to be in a box after you finish, your job, and you gotta sleep and blah blah, and it goes day after day. It gets on you, it's just not the right thing, for the time you put there. Okay, yes, you got paid for that 600 miles you drove, or 500 a day, whatever you do, but when it comes to when you're off the clock, means you're not driving anymore, then you freeze there. And they're talking about this and that, but I'll tell you what, my experience, if you want to be a independent contractor, and having your own authority, or owner operator using somebody else's authority, the authority is not the problem here. You see, we pay like very much money, really, as much, compared to the income. But the issue is you have brokers. Brokers, they're gonna suck everybody's blood, man. They'll steal mileage. Let's say if I'm taking a load from Houston to Dallas, for example, they'll eat 20 miles there. It's approximate mileage, and then they'll say, okay, this is how much mileage it is, and that's how much we're paying. They tell you up front. But they got paid more from the customer, a lot more. So if you want to be a professional trucking company, you have to have the guts to go and do marketing. Nobody speak about marketing when it comes to truck. Everybody's speaking about the driver, the owner operator, this and that, but we all forget about the marketing. That's why a lot of you not making much money. Somebody's telling me, oh, a driver makes about 700, 1200 a week. 1,500 a week. That's not money. I'm sorry. And one truck, you can make short runs within one state, and knowing you can do, like, for example, partial load. That's a good option for people who's trying to establish their own authority, because the competition is so big. On a whole load, you can do partial load. So when you deal with partial load, means you're dealing with a little bit smaller businesses. You're not talking about these factories that wants a whole load. No, somebody wants 3 pallet, 4 pallet, 2 pallet, 1 pallet even. Once you add them up at the end of the day after you deliver, maybe I worked 3 more hours more than you guys, but if I'm carrying, let's say, 20 pallets and each one $75, and that's like cheap. You're trying to knock somebody to get that business, you know, then almost $1,500 you're talking about in a short distance, a short time, in one day. In one day, not a week. And then when you head back, you can do the same thing. So even if you get half load, partial, half truck full, you still make better money. But marketing, don't be afraid to go and look for a customer. Okay? And then once you start making customers, they add up, and then you can't even fill up their demand, trust me. Okay, so let's just stop talking about, you know, things nonsense in some of these videos I seen. You know, I'm like 8 months in the business. Okay, fine, what do you know? And he keeps telling you what they telling him. Everyone almost telling you what they telling him. I'm not gonna go with their rules. When you have your own authority, which is, it's not a problem. It's a lot of paperwork, drug testing, stuff like that. You know, stuff like, you know, it's just a lot of paperwork. You know how government paperwork is just very boring thing. But I have my lovely wife. She does it for me. She's just sitting home with that book stuff, and I pay her. She deserves what she's doing for me, you know. And of course, at the end, it's our future because we are husband and wife. But anyway, this is a video. Just give me a feedback, man. I mean, I have a lot to say. I mean, you know, I mean, I'm not even from here, you know. I came like in 1986, 30 years. You know, I did a lot of other works, you know, and stuff like that. The trucking business is good, but you have to establish your own marketing. Almost every one of those people in the videos, they have the mentality of employee. Yes, they are owner operator, but they still talking employee stuff. You are an employer now. One of the sections in any business is called marketing, for God's sake. Nobody talk about marketing. Everybody talking about brokers and how those guys go to the same customer you're gonna go to and try to take their business. Simply by lowering your rates, because if that customer is paying $3 a mile or $2, whatever it is, you know, you can beat up his price, because Landstar or Swift or whatever, you know, they want to make their money off of your back. When you have your own authority, you are a competition. But don't jump into things, okay? It takes a lot of learning, as I said. But as I said, partial load is one of it. I cannot tell you all my secrets, but I need to live there. You know, you are living in a wild world, you know. If these transportation companies have the power to dictate the market just for themselves, you know, they'll do it. Same thing with the taxi driving thing, you know. I mean, a taxi driver, I drove even 10 years on a taxi. Look how I started. And then I drove a bobtail, and then, you know, two axle, and so on. So things doesn't come in one day, okay? And you gotta learn it. But again, in any business, which is I have another business beside the trucking also, is marketing. And that's what people want. In any business, a good salesman, if it's a clothes, if it is equipment, if it is, that's marketing, falls into marketing section. So to be successful in business, you have to be strong in marketing, rather than, you know, Landstar trying to give you $1.08 per mile, and you take your gas and your expenses and blah 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 blah. I'm telling you, if you have a bobtail, even a bobtail truck I'm speaking of, and you put 10 pallets in that bobtail one way and going back, and $70, only $70 a pallet, you know, 10 times 70, that's 700, and 700 back, that's $1,400. You can make it a bobtail in 2 days. Okay? Because you can hit a load, you know, and deliver those 10 pallets, some of them like 2 in one location, 3 in one location, 5 in one location. But the end, yes, we are the little birds out there, but we need to know how to play it. But those big sharks, they want you to play the game their way. So they can make money out of you. And that's how they become rich. I'm sorry. So get out of the employee mentality and think employer. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. That's the best I can do, and I'll make some other videos later. We'll see how things go. Thank you.